Hey there, we're Stunning Graduates. Right then, what are we doing, Terry?
We are talking Marvel, or at least
Yes.
we're having a Marvel discussion of the Marvel films. In how many phases have they actually done now? Are they just entering the third one?
No. Oh.
We should have researched this.
Yes,
We're
I
just
think
gonna
they're
roll with
entering the third one.
Okay, they're
Because
entering
I think Ant-Man was the second one. The second
So the
phase.
Civil War is the start of the third phase, is it?
Yes.
Cool. Well, at least we.
I hope so.
That's our
But,
educated guess.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, we are discussing kind of the Marvel films, Joe, and kind of picking out our favourite. Like each of us, he picks his favourite, I'll pick my favourite, and
Yeah.
we've decided to just start doing film reviews now as well, because more content, and we're good at talking about films.
Don't hold us to this. But anyway, yes, we are going to do some of those. Because why not?
Yeah, but I swear.
Why not? Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, everyone else is releasing our podcast discussion topic, like videos, and it's all comic book related, all just various. But why not us?
Yeah.
Why not us? We'll get in with popular culture, and we'll get about 5 more views than we usually do.
Maybe. One.
Maybe 6.
Maybe six.
Maybe 6. So that's what we'll do. But don't go dreaming, Chris. Don't go dreaming. 5 is realistic. 6, don't start dreaming.
Anyway, who's gonna begin?
What should we talk about with this first? Should we have a little discussion about the films, or should we just start with our favourite film?
We can talk about Marvel in a whole.
Okay.
They did
They've set it up quite well.
They've done very well.
Yeah, like
They've done very well.
Considering how comic book films were even sort of kind of recently, like Catwoman and Daredevil and stuff like that. The Ben Affleck film.
10 years ago? Would you say 10 years ago?
I'd say
if you said
10 years ago would probably, I'd say, be about the latest.
Yeah.
I'd say because Iron Man was it 2008, I believe.
Put it this way. In theory,
God, the weather is fucking awful. We live in Britain, so
if you think about it, before Iron Man, the first Iron Man came out,
there were sparingly
I wouldn't
good
say
films here, but
superhero movies were not greatly accepted.
You could
you had Spider-Man, and I think that set a bar.
you could definitely.
But around Spider-Man,
don't forget Blade as well.
And Blade.
Don't forget Blade.
I mean,
that got tossed over for Deadpool, wasn't it? The first truly successful comic book R-rated film. It's Blade. Don't forget Blade.
It is Blade. It is Blade.
As great as Deadpool was, I love Deadpool. Blade was there first. Wesley Snipes was. Wesley Snipes.
He was.
Until he punched the director in.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that was in Blade Trinity.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like most of the time, he wasn't even in the film. He had a stand-in. He just got in and he was just stoned in his trailer all the time.
Is that round about the time he went to prison for a little while?
I think it was about 2-3 years before. I think maybe. I'm not 100%.
But yeah, so back then it was
it wasn't good.
You had Spider-Man that did well.
Yeah, Tobey
that
Maguire
did well.
was.
Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire.
I do love Sam Raimi films.
But then you also had films like not Deadpool.
Daredevil. Catwoman. We can look at Shaquille O'Neal with Steel.
Steel.
That was
Marvel. Was that Marvel?
I feel that's something so it's definitely.
It was a comic book movie.
I'm going to throw it. I think that was DC.
Yeah.
And DC are now trying to do what Marvel did,
which I don't think it's going.
Word
well,
of it,
but-
they took their time. They didn't just like, oh, here's everything. They took their time.
Here's a
like,
weird sequence where we're going to introduce all the characters in one movie and then have Aquaman just swimming there, just like. Oh,
yeah, I'm here, king of the sea.
fucking hell. So yeah.
Let's go back to like, actually.
So basically, and then about, I would say, we bring it to now,
They started because I think.
and now it's a very big franchise.
Yeah, like the first, I think. Well, it was Incredible Hulk came before Iron Man.
Yeah,
wasn't
but
it? Like,
it
so
was- but it was
Incredible Hulk
technically-
was sort of like, I think that was sort of the starting point, but I think it's when negotiations were still going on for the idea of the franchise, and it was when Iron Man came in
because-
where it really made something of a
Because-
comic book film.
Well, because when
Comic book. idea.
because Hulk was owned by is still owned by Universal. So that Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton was a Universal film, nothing to do with Marvel. But they still tried to.
tie it in.
Cause no, hang on. It went.
Because the story is generally how it goes a lot with some of the comics anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
So they can...
It went Iron Man, then Hulk. Because obviously you had the end bit with
Tony Stark
Tony
coming
Stark.
in, the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Oh, they do love those post-credit scenes, don't
They
they?
did. What? Do they still do that?
They still do it, of course
Alright.
they do.
Oh yeah. Of course
It's
they
like a
do.
staple nowadays as a post-credit scene. You
Yeah.
can't leave when the credits pop up because you got to wait for someone to
Oh.
say something at the end. You
That is so
bastards.
annoying.
You keep us... As much as I appreciate the work
Yeah,
that
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has put in for this,
Yeah.
you bastards.
We gotta say to the end of the movie.
Like the end,
Like end of the credits.
The end.
We might be walking out.
We're meant to be going, yeah, that was a great film, whilst we're walking on the way out and throwing stale popcorn on the floor.
So obviously, yes, they built up this big, obviously, multi-million
It's
franchise.
a multi-million, definitely
Basically,
multi-million
Marvel.
dollar
If you think
franchise.
about it, Marvel.
I mean, fuck, the first Avengers grossed over like $1 billion in around, I think it was 5 days,
Yeah,
a
it was,
week,
it
or
was
something like that.
But if you think about it, Marvel is like basically one of our movie, like people will actually go to see these films.
It's that's
It's one of you know how like
No, I shouldn't get shot there.
it's just as big as say like like the Transformers stuff, like or any of those franchises.
But then
that
Marvel's
kind of-
actually they've done their films intelligently.
Yes, they did. But I'm just saying, like it's one of the main films that people will go see.
Yeah. Oh, so I love that. Was it the amount that they even like with Justice League film? The amount they actually managed to say with each individual film that they put out as well. The Marvel
Yeah,
films.
the Marvel films.
They really do know how to
They-
define the characters.
I mean, they've really built a world.
that's-
Especially like
They-
building a world. So
So even with like the
yeah.
Netflix shows like Jessica Jones
Oh, yeah,
and Daredevil,
Daredevil.
I'm starting to watch Jessica Jones now, and I am quite enjoying it already.
Yeah.
It's really, I love her because what's her name? Something Rita, something like that. She was Jane in Breaking Bad. You know Jesse's girlfriend.
yeah.
Yeah, like she plays Jessica Jones in that, and she is great.
Oh yeah,
She is great in that role. And then I love
Breaking Bad. I just for some reason
yeah.
I just went.
Yeah, I love Charlie Cox as well as Daredevil. Like he's really good for that role.
I first saw him in Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, he's quite good in that.
I've seen that. But no, Daredevil, I really enjoy it, and it just kind of because it does. It's weird in a way that it doesn't feel in a sense like it's part of the Marvel universe, like Daredevil,
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
way it's shot is so different
It's
from.
so much more different than the Marvel
But
films.
there's still all the evidence lying around to say that it does. Like with the first season, that they're kind of building up Hell's Kitchen after the aftermath of the first Avengers film.
Yeah,
where
they do sort of
There's-
mention it. I don't think they kind of.
They
say
focus.
it
They
properly.
focus on their
They called
own.
it the big thing. Like,
Yeah,
they say
they
it's like
focus
a big
on their
thing.
own thing really,
Yeah.
with like sparing details to the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
And I really cannot wait to see John Bernthal as the Punisher. Like he's got his own series coming now. That I love him as the Punisher. It is like he is fantastic. I love him.
It was pretty good. Like
As Shane in The Walking Dead, that's where I first saw him in his and he really proved his acting chops just in that series alone. Then I saw him in Fury. He was fantastic in that as well.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But so they've created Marvel overall. They've done it where they've took their time in developing all these characters, both in like together in the Avengers films, but then in their own separate places themselves. Like I'd say probably the best development actually is actually the Captain America films, like say for singular character.
Yeah, I would say they've because if you think about it, like I think when they were first coming up with Captain America on like the big screen, they didn't really think that people would take him that seriously.
No, so I think
because of the fact that he was, Captain America.
I think what really does help with the role is who they actually have for it. Chris Evans, he is. They picked a really good actor to play that kind of role, and it's like because I remember, was it when Phase 1 of it all was still happening? They had the first Captain America come out, and everyone was like, it's good, but it's mediocre, Iron Man's best one, or what's it? So the other one's going out 4 and stuff out as well. But then, like, the Winter Soldier came out, and then like that really stepped up like the mark for Marvel films. And the bar was high.
A spy movie, but it was also like it was superhero.
The bar was high for like with how Marvel was going as it was, but then like they set the bar even higher with the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, because to be fair, if you think about Captain America, like it was impressive to do the first movie all set in the 40s, but not even like because obviously when I first saw the
I actually watched them backwards. I watched Civil War, Winter Soldier, and then the first one.
Like if you think about it, like because when I first saw Captain America, the first one, I was like halfway through, I was like, is he gonna go into the future?
Because that is part of the main story with Captain. He's got like the mindset of like say the patriotic 1940s kind of soldier wanting to do the duty for their country. That was kind of like obviously part of the mindset. Then with the drive for the war, it was such a large scale war. Yeah. And applying kind of that to today's world where everything is so different. Because it's like trying to basically keep his kind of spirit. In a sense, in like a world today, say where everything is so different and the morals of everything have kind of changed in a sense. Favourite film? Do you want to go first with your?
Okay. So we're just doing one.
We'll do your and then we'll do mine.
Alright. Mine is Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier.
But I can't know that choice at all. Yeah. It's an excellent film.
I think it's
a
really well.
The relationship between him and Bucky is built quite nicely actually in the first one as it is, and that is like when he's still the scrawny guy, and that you can see he's the kind of guy who looks after him.
Because you in a sense in the first film like if you think about it, like Bucky was sort of defending him, and then it's kind of turned back itself around because obviously Steve Rogers can actually.
You got to admire like the character, like with Steve Rogers. You got to admire like the character's spirit and will to just like continue in even like with his friend and that essentially being like an assassin, to essentially kill him at some point in the film.
Civil War, and spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll get on to Civil War in a second.
Yeah, if you think about Civil War, like the fact that even though Bucky is technically a murderer,
fugitive,
has murdered a lot of people, he still stands by him. Yeah, and still wants him, tries to help him, even though he's technically a bad guy.
Because in a sense, like Bucky, he is like the only sort of sense of family that he has left from when he was alive. Like
especially in Civil War.
Because
when,
now, yes, it was
Peggy
Carter.
died.
She passes away. I haven't seen any of the
the series.
Yeah, the series.
I've seen
with
the
her
first
in.
season. I haven't really seen the second season. And
she is great.
Zax now.
Yeah, I did hear about that, but she was great in like the first Captain America. I did enjoy her character.
Yeah. She was really good in her series.
Yeah, so I will get around to it at some point. But
anyway,
from what I've seen of her, she is.
The Winter Soldier. Yeah. It's really good. It was made by the Russo.
Brothers? Yeah, they've
the Russo brothers. Yeah,
they've done a few episodes of Community.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but that's a weird thing, isn't it? Like
I haven't. I've
bringing two guys that are known for doing the
sparing
comedy,
episodes of Community and stuff,
which
like
is a
that.
comedy.
Yeah,
which is essentially American comedy, and then they're doing a Marvel movie, but it's like a complete, in a sense, a completely different tone to what they've done.
They really knew what to bring to it, though, didn't they? They really did.
Yeah, they've really done well.
Yeah,
I mean, they could. I mean, I don't think they could easily mess it up.
Who was
a lot more worse?
The actor who plays Bucky, I can't remember.
I don't know his name.
But he's
good.
He's really good as Bucky. You can. I like kind of the parallel like between Captain America and the Winter Soldier as well, like the mask kind of thing, for example.
Oh yeah.
It's like obviously Cap has his mouth, kind of eyes exposed and stuff like that showed up there. It's kind of. It's like I don't know. I think I remember seeing someone before like that was part of the ideas of freedom. Like he in belief and stuff like that, you can speak and your beliefs or something like that. It's something along those lines. Whilst Bucky, on the other side, he's got like it's around his mouth, so he's sort of like he's muzzled.
Yeah.
He's basically like someone's pet or something like that. Thing. So he's just muzzled up. He can't speak freely of his own will, which we see even more in a bit in Civil War, don't we?
Yeah.
Some of those ideas, but yeah, there is. I kind of like that parallel there between the two characters. The relationship between the two, you can see, especially with the end and that, where he's shot like 3 or 4 times when he's trying to shut down the Hydra massive helicarriers, isn't it? And then even when he's essentially beating him to death,
he is.
I can't remember the exact line that they say because there was a reoccurring line in the film, wasn't there? And
yeah, what was it?
It was something like because I remember the scene where like I think it was where Steve, Captain America. I think it was like after his mother's funeral, after Steve's mother's funeral. This was like back in the 40s, like when he was much skinnier. The flashback, and it was something along those lines. But yeah, it even when like the Winter Soldier's just beating his face in, essentially going to kill him.
Yeah.
He still believes him, and it's him.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it kind of woke that up, and what he did at the end of it, he did essentially save him from drowning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he dragged him out of the water.
We see Scarlett Johansson
Black Widow
playing Black Widow. Has it moved? Tripod.
I don't think so. You can scoot it over a little bit if you want. It's not that much of a bother in the editing, is it?
No. Because we're just gonna cut that bit.
Cool.
Anyway, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't given her a movie yet.
Yeah, like she's probably actually one of, like, especially with the backstory that you learn after. There's a kind of a little bit of a cock tease between her and Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Obviously. That she's has actually been through hell. Like she's. Yeah. And she is an extremely badass character. She's got a lot of personality as well.
Yeah, the Avengers scene when she's on the chair. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. But yeah, she did really well in this movie. I mean, what else can you really say? I mean,
Do you think Chris Evans
Give her
was
a
happy
movie.
that he got to kiss her probably multiple times because of the takes?
yeah.
I mean, I saw in the outtakes for X-Men 2.
X-Men 2, yeah.
Yeah, like when
Oh god, X-Men 2.
yeah, when shit. Damn it, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, he'd kissed Halle Berry, you know, Storm.
Oh yeah.
And then just as it went to walk away, she squealed, went yes, and then
Oh,
just
I've
walked
seen
off
that. Yeah,
set.
I've seen that. But yeah, also, you see Anthony Mackie. That's how
Oh
you
yeah,
pronounce his name.
that's where this
As
is where he was
Falcon.
introduced as Falcon.
Yeah,
Because I watched him backwards, I first saw him in Civil War and that, and then discovered his origins. So I didn't even know
Which
where
he was a pilot, but he was obviously
experiment.
revealed where
The
what he was a
Falcon
pilot of.
suit. He was just. It was saying I was a pilot, but he didn't say necessarily
obviously-
what for.
Because obviously there was that connection between.
When I saw like the EXO kind of thing on there, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
instantly thought Call of Duty.
Yeah, obviously there's like that.
I wonder if Falcon's gonna do like a 720 ladder stall no scope.
We can hope. We can dream.
Well, he jumps into a helicopter like with such a. I
Yeah.
suppose he's gonna get sliced up in the blades.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a bit. You got to sell tickets and you not kill off your fucking characters. In what would really happen?
Yeah, but obviously there was a big connection between him and Steve Rogers, both being soldiers,
And having was it paid
both losing someone, because obviously he lost his partner when they were out about. Same with Steve Rogers.
patriotic about I'd say I'd actually say more like he believes like in Captain America, like that idea. He believes in Steve Rogers and
Yes.
that, and that's kind of like in I think he understands like the way the context that Steve Rogers feels it, something like that, and
His mindset.
that's why he's like, I think there's a bit more to him than say like Wood just could necessarily be on the surface. He believes and understands more the context of what Steve Rogers' idea is and what he believes in.
Yes. And obviously the story is pretty good. I mean,
The story's great.
the fact that there was a Nazi organization
Hydra.
living inside of a big other.
Did S.H.I.E.L.D. actually recover from that in the future ones? I don't think
No,
they did.
no,
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone now, isn't
It's
it?
completely gone. It was completely gone. I mean, yeah. After that, S.H.I.E.L.D. was no more. But yeah, we see Crossbones before he became Crossbones. That's cool. Oh god. But yeah, I think Winter Soldier is probably one of my favorite films.
No, I could definitely see why it is a fantastic film.
One of my favorite films, and is my favorite Marvel film.
Cool.
And Terry?
Mine is its sequel, the Civil War. Because
But yeah.
because like I think the Winter Soldier. It really, I can definitely say it definitely took it up a level for Marvel films definitely at the time. Like even like the first Avengers film, as brilliant as that was, I went and did see that in cinema. That was a joy to watch.
I think that was mainly a big thing because it was the first time we've ever gonna
That was
see
the first time you've seen
a
like
group of characters from the same franchise,
like
or like even
us coming from a generation of people who've suffered with such like terrible comic book films. This was marvelous.
Oh,
This was
remember Spawn?
Oh god.
Oh god. I remember seeing like some of that, and I saw the bit with the devil. What in the what the fuck?
Let's not
The
go on
fact
to
that
that.
there were people that was like editing that film that saw that and was like,
This
that's
works.
good enough. Yeah.
This works.
Fucking hell.
But no, Civil War. I feel like for starters, For one, it's still a Captain America film at the core, but you can definitely call it Avengers 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they kind of did put a lot of the kind of the story on Captain America.
Because there is quite a bit of story in this. So there's a lot of story. There's a lot of like
And
dilemmas.
I felt like it wasn't like one of the. It wasn't that thing like like Batman v Superman where it was just building up to Batman v Superman.
Yeah, this
was actually just.
It was sort of like, because both of them, they had their reasons for going down both of their respective paths. Like Iron Man. Like seeing the evidence of like the destruction that their actions have caused and stuff like that. Whilst Captain America believes in the freedom to be able to move without agenda from other countries and that an incorruptible group that can fight on behalf of not like one country, I think the world. Like that's the whole point of the Avengers is they are the world's protectors.
Yeah.
And with what Tony Stark is trying to have brought in, which was the Sokovia Initiative, I believe it was, named after the events of Age of Ultron, wasn't it? They brought that in, and he does have good reasons doing it. Like
I think both parties have good reason what they're doing.
That's the thing. There's with these two parties. Like kind of did they kind of make a villain with Batman v Superman? Did they kind of make a villain out of?
I want to say they did. That film.
But no, that's what like with Civil War, both parties have the right reasons for why
they're
want,
doing.
Yeah, for what
but
the actions
they're taking.
It's just
basically how it conflicts.
They want to get to the same conclusion. They just have two very, very widely different ways of achieving that objective. It's a lot with
the Charles Xavier with Magneto kind of thing. Like one wants to live peaceful with the humans, and the other one wants to just take out the humans and live peaceful for the mutants. But they both want the same thing for mutants. But one wants like
the villain. I did like the villain in this. I can't remember his name in the film, but I'm just gonna call him Frederick Zoller because that was actually the actor's name for his character in Inglourious Basterds.
Oh god, are we talking about
the guy who's actually tries to reawaken the Winter Soldier and then cause the havoc between them all?
Right.
We
were talking about Baron Zemo, which is his name in the comic books, not his name here.
He was. Only was. Oh, so how was I thinking I'd describe him earlier? He was. I liked. Because like I was saying, him by himself, like as one man, say like with brute force, could not bring down the Avengers.
Yeah.
But if he had them fighting each other, it's kind of like Loki's plan in the first one, but with this one, he actually he does succeed.
You know the scene at the end with Martin Freeman talking to him in the cell. He has like I can't remember what he says, but it was like something like, what did he say?
I can't remember.
It was something to do with like how does it feel to have your plan ruined? And it's like, was it?
It wasn't really.
It wasn't, because he still like put a big dent in relationships.
Before we say about how can we forget, we had the introduction of Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
Black Panther. For starters, the actor, great. Like that, he's got a lot of conviction about the character and that. Like after he loses his father and stuff like that. That's obviously the main theme of this entire film is revenge.
Yeah.
Like Zemo is wanting to get revenge for losing his family. With the events of
which I thought they did that very well.
Yeah,
how they did that.
They did handle that very nicely.
I had no clue that was a recording.
Stark eventually at the end revenge for his parents. Panther again, for the revenge for
really his really good scene that.
Yeah, it's all fantastic. And then obviously Black Panther with his father, but then he's kind of the only one in a way that doesn't try and follow through with it. Well, he does try, but once he actually has the chance to do it, he's like he kind of brings it back to the moral centre and realise like
No,
revenge and all this kind of idea has consumed them all.
Oh god, he's getting his own movie soon.
Yeah, what's it, what's Brody or something like that? His friend, the guy, the one who's in the War Machine. Like he gets taken out, he gets
yeah.
paralysed from the waist down, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
that kind of adds to a lot of Tony Stark's anger.
Oh, Vision, what did you do?
Yeah, I didn't expect Vision of all people to make that kind of mistake.
Because he was
I
aiming
love
for
the person like
he was aiming
Vision.
for Falcon, didn't he? If he hit Falcon, he doesn't even have a fucking armor
That's
suit.
a bloody good point, actually.
Oh,
Vision, what were you trying to do?
So Terry, what do you think of Spider-Man?
Well, what can you say? Like, it's kind of the best iteration of Spider-Man, even though like it's the first 20 minutes of like this version of Spider-Man.
But that was a
Hang on, let me just bring this just over here a little bit more.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, it was a well
But for one,
representation of Spider-Man.
for one, he actually looks like a goddamn teenager.
Yeah, well,
he looks like he
because if you
belongs
think about
in
Tobey
high
Maguire
school.
was in his 20s.
Like this
same with
kid,
Andrew
I swear,
Garfield.
I think he's 18 or 19. This actor is, because I read up on it, and yeah, he's the youngest actor to play Spider-Man yet, and he
good.
fits the part so well. Like I love when also when they actually like the big fight scene at the airport.
Yeah.
As he's swinging around and stuff like that, like when he first meets like Bucky or something, when he gets into a fight with Bucky, he's like, "Oh my god, you got a metal arm."
That's so cool. Where Bucky's just like,
that's
meant to hurt you.
No, so that works because like he's
really strong.
No, it's not. I'm not about like that. Yeah, that stuff there works.
That's
all the
superpowers
superpowers and stuff like that. But like the way he's acting, like the character
He's
of
actually
it,
really like
he's excited to be here. Like like when he meets Tony Stark and stuff like that, it's all a big surprise. All these people are like big names in this world, and he's fighting along with them. Like, he's excited, and you can see that.
But yeah,
Like when he fucking he locks up Captain America and is like, big fan.
Don't you think that's a thing that people forget about Spider-Man?
What, that he's a goddamn high schooler?
No, it's the fact that he's really strong.
Yeah, he is. Like the character's really strong.
I'm pretty sure he has to pull his punches in order to actually like.
Yeah, so with in Spider-Man 2 when he's fighting on the train scene with Doc Ock, like he stops like an entire subway train.
But yet
the
Doc
face
Ock
he
survived a hit to the face. I love that.
Thing is, like he's a good character. It's like the Punisher. He'll just off you. Like the Punisher's the type of Marvel character that blurs the line between a hero and a villain and stuff. Like he's so far gone into it that it's dubious if you can even call him a hero.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much all like the people in this, they're all heroes essentially.
Yeah, they're just having their own squabble, if you will.
Hang on, so I've got to mention Ant-Man. When he grows, when he temporarily becomes it's Giant Man essentially. That was cool. that was really cool. The effects were great for it as well. They really blended it in well.
They did well. I mean,
because like there's plenty of examples where stuff like that, like it's like even just the Ant-Man film, like doing that shrinking kind of size kind of thing and that.
Yeah.
The characters got corny as fuck origins as well, like because it was one of the first characters made for the Avengers template.
That was true, yeah.
Yes, and like for a film with such corny origins, they did so well with it. I really did enjoy Ant-Man because
it's still a good film. Yeah,
they really didn't have much to work with per se to turn it into a modern. Kind of like make it fit in with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they achieved, I would say, really, really well with what they had.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, back to Spider-Man. Like, I feel like I like the bit that they've explained why he wears goggles, because obviously
that enhances the spider
it focuses No, his focus is his spider sense.
They've done what they did with Deadpool as well, when they've made like the eyes
and that's
kind
how
of
the
more.
goggles. They've actually explained.
They have as well. With
works.
Deadpool, it's just like it's a comic book movie. You're accepting it as that. They're just going to run with that. It's a comic book film. With there's more reality trying to be installed into it.
Yeah.
So they explained it and it makes sense. One of my favourite little scenes in that one was when Ant-Man throws, like, he has the shrunk down, like, truck or whatever, and he says, throw this, and he hits War Machine and it explodes. He goes, oh man, I thought that was a water tap truck.
But yeah, anyway, let's go on to the fight.
Yeah, the fight is, like I said, like, my God, like, the cinematography, like, the way it all blended in with each other. Oh,
it was good.
I'd say it was definitely...
Ant-Man rode an arrow.
Like, that was something from, like, one of the comics as well, when I think it was off the front cover of one, and then obviously in the issue, but, everything just flowed in, like, it was better than like the first Avengers fight scene and that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the first Avengers fight scene.
The second one, it was better than as well. I'd say Avengers: Age of Ultron's last fight scene was a little bit jumbled, if anything.
Yeah.
And not everything flowed as well right here. Like this was is it the Russo or Russo brothers?
What, this film?
Yeah, well, no, was it how you pronounce it? But yeah, I know the Russo brothers also did this film.
Oh yeah.
Like it's still Captain America? It's still technically a sequel, and you can see that they because they understand the elements of the previous film, they really make it just flow off from what happened before extremely well.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything's changed really much, say from where the rest of the universe has worked off of it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And obviously we got the Captain America still trying to fight for Bucky and that's what leads to the airport fight scene.
Yeah, because they're trying to get to the helijet.
Yeah, the last decent one that's not been seized.
Yeah.
And Bucky and Steve obviously do get away. The rest of Steve's team are
arrested.
Yeah, they're all arrested.
Put into a big prison.
In the
middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I think. I think it was in space, like the one in the comics or something like that.
I was gonna say, no, it wasn't.
No, but I think it was either in space or it was in a mountain or something like that in the comics. But here, as we can see, it's in the middle of the fucking ocean.
Yeah. Which is probably a best place to put
it. It's a pretty good. That's a pretty good plan, to be honest.
Yeah.
But and then that, obviously, we see even more of like Bucky and Steve's actual friendship, because for a short while in the film, Bucky isn't actually properly Bucky, is he? Like he's still kind of Winter Soldier. I think he gets. I don't know, you get knocked out with something that I'd have smashed on the head, and that seems to give him a bit of sense, which
I can't remember how it worked.
That worked for Hawkeye as well, back in the first Avengers.
I can't remember how it worked, but yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of comes back to a sense, and then, like, after, like, Tony sees everything, obviously, that's, all the rest of Steve's team is, locked up. And then, he sees evidence that what Captain America is actually searching for, like what he's going for, is actually true. He's not basing it off of just some, his beliefs, and that he's actually got reason to do the things he's doing. He's trying to stop, it's the Super Soldier Project, isn't it? There was a load of other Super Soldiers that are exactly like... They're even more powerful than the Winter Soldier, aren't they?
Well, they're a lot more I guess hostile. Even though
I kind of liked that they kind of they switched that back on you with the end scene, which I'll properly get to in a second. But Steve and Tony kind of have a moment of reconciliation there, where they both they both understand. Well, at least Tony understands Captain America's objective, and he's like, right.
Is that the bit when the phone call?
Or is that no, it's like when he actually first gets into, when they've Steve, well, Captain America and Bucky have reached the actual compound, and then Iron Man breaks in.
Yeah.
They have a kind of what's it moment there? They're both tired, like, from all of it.
Yeah.
Because it has been a bit of hell that has started since, like, because it was Scarlet Witch that essentially accidentally set the motions in the film,
she did,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Like, because Crossbones tried to commit suicide via explosives and that, and then she couldn't control the explosion for long enough, and civilians ended up dying.
Yeah.
But then also there was the previous stuff in the previous films as well, which helped set up to it.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like a rash
Because obviously
thing.
you can't really, like, with those sort of, like, scenes, those big scenes, like, with New York and, like, Sokovia, you can't really say there wasn't casualties.
I swear, like, that was something... Like, I remember when Avengers came out and then people were like, oh, yeah, but probably loads and loads of people died and stuff like
Probably
that.
did.
And
You can't just, like...
people were annoyed that it was glossed over. And I think, because they set all this stuff up, like, years ahead, don't they? So,
yeah.
I think they kind of did that on purpose, maybe, then, like, in retrospect.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
might have done
assuming they have I guess, if anything, they have a 5-year plan, I think. So, yeah, I would imagine they would have already thought this is going to happen. This is going to be an event that is going to be essential to the story. But yeah, I mean...
and then obviously we get to the discovery...
The discovery that I called when I first saw at the beginning, because I think it just like kind of hit me with the whole oh yeah, he did this, he must have done this.
But no, it's still, irregardless, like a great twist, and you can't blame Iron Man Tony from
what he did.
You can't, because like I said to you before, like all that pent up aggression, like for the fact that he never reconnected, like with his father, found his stuff like that. He lost his chance to really bond with them, and now he has somewhere he can place that anger.
Yeah.
Like if you were in the same situation, you would flip
you'll
your
go
shit.
You'll go for the person that has like literally like ruined.
And the scene is. Oh, it's such a great fight scene as well. It's really.
Like, I was thinking more the bit when he finds out, he just looks at like Captain America and just like, did you know? And I didn't know it was him. It was like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, like I know that scene is very, very tense, and it just kind of sets up for the next scene just very, very well, where, like, even in the face of this kind of evidence and stuff like that, it's still quite admirable that Steve is still defending Bucky.
I know that Bucky was brainwashed, but you still have to.
Bucky is probably, if anything, the biggest victim in all of it.
Yeah.
Because he's been, controlled against his will to it was over how many 170 missions I think they said in the Winter Soldier.
It was something like that.
Like, he's killed a lot of people, and as like like you said,
for most of them, he doesn't know he did it. Like,
no, he does.
He does now.
Yeah, like with like when they're actually fighting and that, he's like Stark says to him, it's like, as in like, do you remember? And I say, I repeat all of it. He remembers all of it.
I must have completely forgot about
so
it.
like he remembers all the things that he did, even though it technically wasn't him.
Yeah. But,
he was it was done completely against his will through brainwash, and that he's more the victim than anyone else, I feel, in the entire film. As much as like you can't blame Stark for going off on him like that.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. And that's like.
And obviously, what was the thing?
Well, then after, technically Captain America wins technically, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Because he
technically
takes
does win
out
this.
well, most of the arc reactor that's in Tony's chest, almost
God.
kills him.
That thing was like, his face was just like...
Like when Captain America, no, when Bucky was actually trying to pull the arc reactor out of his chest, I was like, are they gonna do this?
Are they gonna kill him
Are they gonna kill Iron Man? Are they actually gonna kill a main character?
That's another thing I was very surprised about. No one died.
No, so I love all these characters and the actors that portray them, at the end of the day, the kind of job they are doing, someone has to die at some point.
I'm more thinking about the comic books, because Captain America dies at the end of... I don't know if it's the end of Civil War, but it was like...
No, yeah, in the comics it's Civil War, I believe.
Like, he dies, but no one has died in it. Like, I mean, doesn't tarnish it. Like, I feel like it's fine, but I'm just like, that's really surprising to me.
So Walking Dead, they kill off main characters. Well, they used to all of the time.
Game of Thrones, doesn't matter, just die.
But then again, when we saw, well, I haven't even watched Game of Thrones, but when you saw Sean Bean in a show where everyone's gonna die, you're like, he is first to go.
Jesus, I remember that scene. That was
he gets beheaded, doesn't he?
Because he gets killed off like the second to last episode of season 1, and you're just like, wait, what? What?
But then you're like, oh wait, yeah, it is Sean Bean.
Yeah.
And he dies in about roughly 60-70% of the films he's in.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about the end?
By the way, he drops the shield and then walks.
Yeah, he drops the shield.
He drops the shield, which, because, well, like Tony said, like his dad, like Howard Stark made it, so he's like, yeah, okay, that's your shield.
Yeah, I mean, in the comic books, I think he becomes Nomad, which is basically just...
I feel like I probably have heard the name before, but I don't know the character that well. But then again, like, I think it's basically Captain America under a different name.
Without the shield and not like...
Still the values and belief of Steve Rogers, just under a different name.
Yeah, but I doubt they like do that in the comic books. No, in the movies.
They might.
I feel like they might confuse people a little bit too much, because you got to sort of realise, like...
Yeah, but then again, if they make a big enough scene out of it and they describe it well enough,
maybe.
And it's right. It's like you wouldn't even need to say necessarily do it, even through like just writing and stuff like that. You could just shoot it with like no dialogue, and I reckon you could easily get the message across that like he's changed over from Captain America.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they might have done that.
They might not. We don't know. We don't know what they got planned yet. We do know obviously of Infinity War and that happening with. What was the character's name again? He's the big purple guy.
Thanos.
Is it Thanos?
I want to say it's Thanos.
So do I, but I don't feel it is, because that's
big purple guy with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thanos.
Because all I'm thinking is Thanos Gaming now.
No, I'm pretty sure
To be fair, you're probably right. I'm
pretty sure it's Thanos.
I'm probably just mishearing.
I mean, if I've got it wrong, I'll definitely put it in like.
And hopefully not get sent death threats by the comic book community. But
but yeah.
I showed up at the end of like the first Avengers film post-credit scene.
Oh yeah.
It was a little bit in Guardians of the Galaxy, another fantastic Marvel film.
That is a good film.
It's great. Chris Pratt is like even the other because there's Chris Hemsworth.
Chris
Evans and Chris Pratt. I saw this little picture. I don't know if I've got it on my phone actually, but it says basically there was in an interview for one of the, I think it was one of the Avengers films or something like that, and then the interviewer says, "Can we just all admit that Pratt is the worst of all the Chris's?" And yeah, there we go. He says, "No, he's the best of us. He's better than all of us." When the Chris's have a meeting and declare the one true superior Chris.
But yeah, anyway.
And then what's it? Obviously, Captain America, he breaks the crew out of the prison, knocks pretty much everyone out on the ship.
Zemo
He's
gets
put, yeah,
what he wants.
in a sense, yeah, he does. He's put in jail, but he essentially does get what he wants. The Avengers certainly are
I feel like
fractured.
there's a little bit of a thing where
There's still, I feel like there's
where
definitely.
remember at the end where he gets the phone calls, Tony Stark, and he gets the phone through the post, and then he gets a phone call, and then someone's breaking into that prison, but then he just like goes like he just puts General Ross on hold.
Mhm.
General Ross is in this film. Awesome, I guess.
The
He
man
puts
who
him on hold,
despises
and
Bruce
I feel
Banner.
like there's a little bit of clarity. Like they both understand now.
Because with obviously Captain America, no sorry, Iron Man going off on Bucky, that was a pure emotional response
Yeah.
for the time and that. So when you stand back and actually look at the kind of serious stuff like that, I
Yeah.
think he understands a bit more. He's still, I could probably say he's still angry. Like who
Yeah.
wouldn't be? But I reckon he's at least got some clarity on the
Yeah.
situation a bit more.
And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to
I'm looking.
whatever comes
Yeah, what comes next,
that
really.
involves
I
either the Russo brothers or
and
Captain
please,
America
please, can we have more Hulk, please? Like Mark Ruffalo is great as the Hulk.
yeah, I think they're doing a Planet Hulk.
A Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
How many Hulks will there be?
Well, if we're talking about the comic books / the animated film, I love Hulks.
And also, how the hell would the relationship
I think
between
Paul's in
Scarlett
that film as well.
Johansson and they work?
Let's
Like,
not
what
get-
if-
let's
what
not, no.
All right, we'll keep it somewhat PG. But
Yes.
all I'll say is that if he gets too excited, he could grow and she would split in half.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to leave out the
that's
gory details, but that's
Yeah.
I think people have enough pieces there to get the idea of what I'm talking about.
Well, anyway, that
yeah,
is
overall-
our very long discussion on our favourite Marvel films, our favourite Marvel movies.
And we will next time be talking about Deadpool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. And I guess
We don't want
if
to
you
keep you
like
any
this-
longer.
if you like it, leave us a like.
Share, subscribe, like all them beautiful social media things, because you know, not you got to do it more often. Like I'm liking and sharing things that I've seen and like more often now because.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, same.
So do it for us, internet.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Do it.
But anyway, this is it's Chris, Terry, we're Starling Graduates. Bye. Oh, you had to find the horse head.
I did have to.
Oh.